the last video, I built the box for the camp kitchen that uses these IKEA tubs as its drawers. Next, they needed rails to slide on. For those, I used this PVC tile trim that I got from Home Depot. I stacked them inside with a little bit of space in between each so that they can move freely, and figured out where the lips were going to line up. I also left a little space at the bottom for this tray that I have, and also the lids when they're not in use. I got 2 of the yellow tubs so that one could be used as a wash basin. It pretty much fits in that top compartment, or you can just put it on a table or wherever. This area inside the pantry seemed like wasted space, so I got the idea to add a little drop-down shelf. I thought it would be cool to go ahead and put a cup holder in there too. Or you could set a little lantern there or one of those small propane canisters. Again, trying to keep things simple. I didn't want to build shelves, so I shopped around and I found these little wall-mounted baskets. It fits in the space perfectly and it holds mason jars, which is what I'm going to use for the storage. Next, I needed a way to have everything latched shut, and this was the best deal I could find. I hadn't initially planned on including that little drop shelf, so adding it made shutting the pantry door a bit of a struggle. But I used this to keep it squeezed shut while I added the latches. Next up, handles. Oh, dang it. Initially I used the 1/2-inch screws, but they were incredibly inadequate, and so I replaced them with bolts and nuts later. From the beginning, I wanted to incorporate this little vintage tray. I wanted to use it in many different locations as needed, so my idea was to install 2 of these brackets, add magnets to them. I also thought this would keep the face of the kitchen nice and clean and just show off the wood grain. This magnetic strip has an adhesive side to it, but it really sucks, so I just used Gorilla Tape to stick them on there. Next, I wanted to add some small canisters for spices and stuff like that. And van lifers like this sort of magnetic canister arrangement, but the price is a bit steep for me. I considered these magnetic canisters from Dollar Tree, but the reviews were really bad, like the lids fall off and stuff like that. And they're not exactly food grade, so I changed my mind. So then I had the idea of doing the reverse and having magnetic strip and steel canisters. As it so happens, we have a magnetic strip. I rummaged around the cabinets and remembered these matcha teas that I got a super smokin' deal on, and they would be perfect size. Turns out I still had plenty of vertical space left, so I went ahead and bought another one of those baskets. One thing that was driving me nuts is that the pantry was swinging too wide open. So I had bought these little magnetic catches for something else, I don't remember, and so I just installed the magnet part at the top of the pantry and the metal part on this little knob on the lid. To keep the shelf from flopping down, I put this little screw here, but it serves another purpose. I wouldn't do any serious prep on the drop-down shelf, but it is plenty big enough for, your little charcuterie board. While I was at Dollar Tree, I went ahead and picked up one of these little LED tap lights too. Perfect for lighting up your late night snacks. Right about at this state is probably where I should have left it be, but you'll see after the test fit where I get into the weeds a bit. After trying a few different places, the best place I found where I can still get in the drawers and the pantry is right behind the driver's seat. Be sure to flip open the top lid while it's still near the back. Then just scooch it up near the front. This arrangement is the only one that gave me issue. It feels like the stove is too high, especially for a short person like me, and there's nowhere else to put it. So I got the bright idea to flip the brackets and undermount the tray. Turned out great, except that the stove slopes hazardously forward. So I basically put it back the way it was originally, except that the tray is now screwed to the brackets because I already drilled holes in them, so why not? And I think the height is exactly the same, if not higher than it was before. After some patching and refinishing, I am done messing with it. Next up, I've got a campsite booked and I'm going to field test it and show you all what I've got inside as far as gear and supplies go.